Injuries and doping suspension saw the former Russian #1 tennis player go from grass to grace and back to grass. However, there have been a lot of controversies about this question. Maria Yurievna Sharapova was born on April 19, 1987, in Nyagin, Russian SFSR, Soviet Union, into the family of Yuri and Yelena Sharapov. Both parents are from Gomel, Belarusian SSR. The family left Nyagin for Sochi, Krasnodar Krai, Russia, in 1990 because they were concerned about the regional effect of the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear accident. She started playing tennis at the age of 4 after her parents moved to Sochi. Her first racket was given to her father's girlfriend by Alexander Kafelnikov, whom her son Yevgeny later went on to become Russian #1 tennis player and 2-time Grand Slam winner. Upon giving her the racket, she started practicing with her father regularly at the local park. She further went on to take her first tennis class with veteran Russian tennis coach Yuri Yudkin, who was fascinated seeing her play and noting her incredible eye-hand coordination. Sharapova, at the age of 6, attended a tennis clinic in Moscow run by Martina Navratilova, who later recommended her for training with Nick Bollettieri at the IMG Tennis Academy in Bradenton, Florida. Despite all the financial situations on the ground, her father had to borrow an amount that would be sufficient to see him and his daughter out of Russia to Florida. They finally moved to Florida in 1994, with visa restrictions denying her mother from joining them 2 years later. The father engages himself in some low-paying job just to afford her lesson fee until she's old enough to be admitted to the academy. In 1995, she was signed by IMG, who agreed to pay her annual tuition fee of $35,000 for her to stay in the academy. Sharapova made it to the limelight in November 2002, when she won the Eddie Herr International Junior Tennis Championships in the girls' 16 division at just the age of time. She was then awarded the Rising Star Award for her excellent performance. She made her professional debut in 2001 and further went on to feature in a WTA event for the first time at the Pacific Life Open in 2002, but crashed out in the second round after losing to Monica Seles. Later that year, she featured in the Junior Australian Open and Wimbledon, reaching the final for both, but she couldn't get the prize. She then became the youngest girl to reach the final of the Australian Open Junior Championships. She was then placed number 6 in the ITF Junior World Ranking with a win-loss record of 47-9 in her junior career. She made her full season the following year at the Australian Open, and French crashed out at both events in the first round. She proceeded to Wimbledon, recording her first win over the top 20 players before losing in the next round. She further went on to win the Japan Open Tennis Championships and the Bell Challenge Tournament in Quebec City. She finished that season with the WTA Newcomer of the Year award. The 2004 season was a very vital season for her development as she rose to fame and caught the attraction of the media after she defeated 5th-seeded and former Wimbledon champion Lindsay Davenport to reach the Wimbledon final, and further went to defeat top-seeded and defending champion Serena Williams to win her first Grand Slam singles title, becoming the third youngest player to win it behind Lottie Dod and Martina Hingis. She is also the second Russian woman after Anastasia Moskina to win a Grand Slam singles title. Following her recent success, she entered the US Open, winning 3 of her 6 preparation matches, but later crashed out of the main event in the third round. To stay active after the loss, she featured and won different titles during that period, including the Hanseol Korea Open Tennis Championships and the Japan Open Tennis Championships. Later that year, she debuted at the year-ending WTA Tour Championships, defeating Moskina and injured Serena Williams to clinch the title. Just 4 years after making her professional debut, Sharapova made it to the number 3 on the WTA World Ranking for the first time after clinching back-to-back titles at the Torrey Pan-Pacific Open and the Qatar Total Open. She further went on to feature at the TRI Nasdaq 100 Open, where she defeated former world number 1 players Justin Henin and Venus Williams to reach the final, but eventually lost to Kim Clijsters in the finals. Sharapova featured in a clay court tournament at the Italian Open and reached the semi-finals on a clay court for the first time but eventually lost to Patty Schneider. The loss saw her not clinching the top spot on the WTA World Ranking. Sharapova tried to defend her Wimbledon title the following year after winning it, reaching the semi-finals of the tournament without losing a set and extending her winning streak of 24 matches but eventually defeated by the champion Venus Williams. With just fewer points to defend, she became the first Asian and Russian woman to hold the number 1 spot on the WTA ranking, though she spent just a week holding the spot, with Davenport reclaiming the spot after winning the Pilot Pen tennis tournament. However, she reclaimed her number 1 spot a few weeks later but could only manage to be on top for just 6 weeks before losing the spot to Davenport again due to injuries. Sharapova started the new season by losing at the Australian Open semi-finals to Henin but later went on to win her first title of the year 9 months later at the Tier I tournament in Indian Wells, defeating Hingis and Elena Dementieva in the semi-finals and finals, respectively. She was later seeded third in the US Open, where she defeated third-seeded Mauresmo for the first time in the semi-finals and then went ahead to beat the second-seeded Justine Henin to win her second Grand Slam singles title. She finished that season ranked number 2 in the world. Sharapova struggled with form following recurring injuries between the 2007 to 2011 seasons. This period saw her go through different surgeries, injury rehabilitation programs and many more. However, she managed to win the Australian Championship and her third Grand Slam title during this tough period, defeating Jelena Jankovic in the semi-finals and defeating Ana Ivanovic in the finals to clinch the title even without dropping a set all through the tournament. This period also saw her swing on the WTA ranking, losing out and entering the top 10 positions during the period. She ended the struggles in the 2011 season by finishing number 4 on the ranking, her first top 10 finish since 2008 and her first top 5 finish since 2007. She returned fit in 2012 after struggling over the past 4 years. Her comeback was capped with a win at the Italian Open, which saw her defend her title for the 4th time. Later that year, the Russian Olympic Committee asked her to be the flag bearer for the country during the 2012 Summer Olympics, becoming the first female Russian athlete to receive the honor. She further went on to clinch a silver medal at the Olympics, and that saw her move to number 2 on the ranking. The following season was full of struggles with shoulder injuries again, but she made her comeback in 2014 and went on to win the French Open titles, the second of her career and her 5th major overall title. With injuries which kept hampering her career, which saw her struggle to perform at her best, she, however, managed to the Australian Open final in 2015, the 4th time in her career, but eventually lost to Serena Williams in the final. Her struggles with injuries continued in 2016, and the struggles saw her withdraw from different tournaments, including the Qatar Open, BNP Paribas Open and many others. However, with injuries and struggles, she fell out of the top 5 that season. She also tested positive for meldonium, a substance that has been banned by WADA effectively from January 1st. Following this, she was banned from tennis for 2 years, but with the intervention of the Russian sports minister Vitaly Mutko, who stated that she was targeted as a result of political issues between Russia and America, her ban was later reduced to 15 months. Following her return from suspension in 2017, she accepted a wild card to the China Open and Tianjin Open but lost in the 3rd round of the China Open to Simona Halep in a straight set, and she remained in China for the Tianjin Open, which she later won, without dropping a set, and also her first WTA title since 2015. Her victory saw her move to the top 60 on the WTA ranking. She started the 2018 season at the Shenzhen Open, where she advanced to the semi-final but lost to defending champion Katerina Siniakova, and the season was hampered by shoulder injuries which saw her withdraw from the China Open, Tianjin Open and Kremlin Open. However, she had some great performances that season which saw her move to number 29 on the WTA ranking. With injuries, she started the following season at the Shenzhen Open, but she couldn't appear in many tournaments and even withdrew from some following her recurring shoulder injuries. The injuries and doping suspension are believed to have caused a catastrophic decline in her career. She ended the season ranked number 131 on the WTA ranking, her lowest year-end ranking since making her WTA debut in 2002. She started the next season with hopes that she might overcome her injury woes, but which couldn't happen. She struggled the whole year with injuries, and that saw her move down on the WTA ranking to number 369, her lowest since August 2002. Following a defeat to Vekic in Melbourne, she announced her retirement from tennis on February 26, 2020. In an essay in Vanity Fair, Sharapova wrote, "I'm new to this, so please forgive me. Tennis, I'm saying goodbye. But as I embark on my next chapter, I want anyone who dreams of excelling in anything to know that doubt and judgment are inevitable. You will fail hundreds of times, and the world will watch you. Accept it. Trust yourself. I promise you that you will prevail." This is how Sharapova's supposed amazing career ended, with injury struggles and doping issues. Thanks for staying through the story. Please subscribe to the channel for more amazing content.